All right, babies, it is that time again. Oh, yeah. You see, it's a little warmer out. I'm not wearing a scarf this morning. I will be getting to Genesis 31 one of these days, but didn't have time for it this morning, so I jumped into chapter 124 of the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ. And there we have a familiar story of a couple things. But first, it starts off with this kind of enigmatic setting where Jesus is shown to want to explain more deeply the more difficult reasons for his presence on the planet to his disciples. And so they plan this kind of getaway where they can get that done, but word got out where Jesus is. And the multitudes followed them. And Jesus had compassion on them because there was so many of them and they were hungry, and so he created food out of just a handful of food. So everyone ate and was filled. And because of the miracle, they're saying, wow, this must be the Messiah. It's kind of an obvious conclusion. And then Jesus is like, well, all right, that's done. I'm going to go alone to pray. And he sets his disciples out to go off to a further spot via boat. And later he joins up with them in the midst of a storm, walking on the water. And Peter is shown to have said, if it's really you, Jesus, tell me to get out of the boat and come to you. And he's like, come. So Peter does, and when he realizes he's actually walking on the water, he freaks out, starts to sink, and Jesus pulls him to safety and says, why did you doubt? That whole scene is coming up on season 4 of The Chosen, which we will see at the end of this year. I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out. If you don't have the money to pay for it, you can get it for free, or you can just donate some money to the cause just by downloading the app called The Chosen. Highly recommend it because it shows kind of similar to what I'm trying to do with you here. I'm trying to give you an honest look at someone's practical life and how faith in Jesus impacts me practically, specifically, day to day. And that's kind of how The Chosen is set, you know. So you get into the background of the relationships and the challenges and the developments of the characters more than the disciples and the people of the area, more than Jesus himself. So think of my broadcast here as the chosen squared. Now, let's see what's happening here. I want to talk about what I read in the Aquarian Gospel. First off, this whole notion of Jesus wanting to explain the deeper things of his advent I think is relevant for today's time. And by that I mean things are happening at such a rapid rate in the world right now as far as corruption and darkness. I really believe, like, now more than ever, there's a real need for alignment with him, not only for protection and safety, but for proclaiming the gospel and being a light. A city set on a hill. Because as people become scared of things getting worse and there being less things to trust, the opportunity for them to see the trust operating in Christians in a strong way is imperative. Now, having said that, I think, getting back to my situation, I think the reason why God is now telling me, let's not put makeup on when you're going to the gym, because I was doing that to promote diversity to help reduce the teenage suicide rate, because that's my job, that's my career, is working with suicidal teenagers and giving them hope. So my response to that has been putting out diversity in public life so people are less judgmental, so that there's less of this atmosphere of fear of being hated for who kids feel like they're just being true to themselves. So that's what I've been doing for about 4 years now. But I think God's taking me into a different path, and so I felt like he was telling me, let's not put the makeup on when we're going to the gym. And so I've done it twice now, and I will be doing it again today. It will be the third day. And what I'm thinking about is not that he doesn't want me to celebrate diversity and love those who are being hated and judged, but to put myself in a position so that, like I just told you, as things get dark, I want to align myself with every step that he's taking so that when I encounter people who are desperate and in need of support and guidance, they're not distracted by the fact that I'm wearing makeup. And they're just responding to what I'm saying and the love I have for them and the power that is being manifest in us when we surrender ourselves that way, specifically for the benefit of other people.